What advice would you give the average person when going into the hospitals and they're trying to medicate them, or what advice would you say?
Well,
or dealing with the medical industry in general.
Yeah, you know, and unfortunately, a large portion of us are dealing with that.
Absolutely,
you know, it used to be in the day, you didn't ever think that you had to go to the hospital. It was a total part of your whole life. But, you know, 75% of this country is on some type of prescription drug. So we're dealing with the hospitals daily. So I would say definitely ask questions. So what I do in my workshops is I deal with people that are on medications all the time.
Okay.
And so what I do is I ask them, I say, well, have you asked your doctor, do they have a plan for you, a cure plan? Do you have a cure plan? That's what I call it. Cure plan means I'm going to be on the medication for a certain amount of time, and then I'm off of it, and then I am rid of this disease or illness.
Wow.
I'm not 100% against the medications, right? It's that some things are needed. You know, yo, you got your femur bone poked through your leg.
Yeah,
you're going to need some Dilaudid or some morphine.
Yes.
Right? I'm okay with that. You know, I understand.
Yeah.
But at the end of your baby season, you might need a little Ativan, you know what I'm saying, to help the baby stop seizing, to get them to the hospital to figure out why they're seizing, you know.
Yes, having a seizure.
Yeah, a seizure. Yeah, having a seizure. So, but you don't need to be on it for the rest of your life.
Right.
Like, why am I on this the rest of my life? So, how do I consider myself healthy? I'm taking a pill the rest of my life. I consider myself healthy? Like, no. And they got the commercial, and you know, they happy, and everybody smiling, holding hands, and Cialis, and you're like, what? What's going on here? You should be concerned.
Yes.
If your yang don't work, I'm concerned, right off the back.
Now they have a big opioid epidemic, where opioids is what, a painkiller? Opioids a painkiller? Yeah,
well, they can use it. You use it as a painkiller. That's what the medical field uses it as, but they use it to get high. Basically.
Well, now, but they mostly put you on opioids when you do certain procedures, and then people become addicted to it. You know, so it's like, what do you do? And in your experience, when people ask that question to their doctors, like, okay, because honestly, I've never thought of that. When you go to your doctor and you ask, well, you are prescribing me this drug that's supposed to cure something or supposed to help. How long are you expecting me to be on this pill before I'm able to have my body function on its own? Is there ever an answer?
You know, and I think if they start that conversation at least, because with that conversation is going to come some education. Absolutely. You're going to force the practitioner, the doctor, to say, well, this is your condition, A, B, C, and this is why, yay or nay, I don't feel you need to be off this particular medication. Then ask, what does this medication do to me? Then I'm actually an advocate for anatomy and physiology to be taught day one kindergarten. Because they lord over you with you not knowing your own body. You know, how somebody know more about your body than you? It makes absolutely no sense at all. So how am I educated? I'm educated? Right, I'm educated. I mean, I ain't nothing wrong with playing ball, but do you understand how the muscle and the tryptophan and the myosin and all that's forming that, and the filaments that's making that muscle contract?
Absolutely.
How that blood goes in there, what's oxygen, like what's happening to your body, man? So that way, with that education, you can ask the doctor and say, well, you know what? Is that going to be the most beneficial thing for me? Or, and here's the juggler, can I cure this with a plant-based diet?
Oh, they don't want to hear that.
Can I change my diet?
Oh, they don't want to hear that.
And without the medication, you know, or temporarily with the medication and be healed, right? So what I ask doctors, I said, show me one doctor that said that they healed somebody without cutting on them, chopping something out, or having them on medications. You show me that person. I want to see who said, I healed and I cured this person.
Right. Well, that's why they took Dr. Sebi. They took him. But
right?
that is so important, and I think that's something that, as listeners, you have to take. Like, we have to start putting more pressure on our doctors, you know. So moving forward, us knowing that, are you vegan?
So I'm not vegan. I'm definitely, me and my family are definitely about 80-85% plant-based. I do my chicken, man. You know,
oh, man.
I do my oxtail. Listen, I gotta
what?
have my
You still with the beef?
Listen, but that's why we are moving to get a homestead, to be self-sufficient, to grow our own chickens and have our own beef. You know what I'm saying? Or barter with that. So right now we actually legit have a place in Missouri.
Whoa.
So we're, you know, we just stepping out on faith, looking for land. Right now, unfortunately, everybody want to move in the city, so land's a little bit cheaper now.
Oh, wow.
You can get some land with some well water, throw you a house on there, build your own, you know, throw you some solar and wind, self-sufficiency, grow your food, you know. And you don't have to have meat. Like, we eat meat maybe once or twice a week. So we legit still mostly are you know, plant-based, you know, and it's just all about selecting the plants too, and the meat and the beef, because what they don't understand about the plants, because you got Monsanto out here, you got thallium and lead and aluminum and mercury all in your system, in the soil and in the air, your vegetation is ingesting that also. And that's why it's important to eat other foods that will help you eliminate the metals. Okay. I know, that's a lot. So thallium, mercury, I could touch on those things a little bit later, but these are basically neurotoxins.
Yes.
Basically, that's what they are. You know, they affect your brain. Again, going back to the mentality. See, that's what I do. I tie everything back to your mentality, because everything.
That's the most important part of your body, your brain.
Listen, for me, everything is thought and decision. The thought I receive and the decision I make about the thought. Period.
Input, output.
That's it. Decision, and then how I act on it. That's when if I act on it, and then that's it. That's your life. You know. So that's the way I feel like, you know.
And for the most part, a lot of things are basically like that. And it stems from the foods, what we digest, what we put in. Even when you said the air is toxic. And it's like, people don't understand, this all has an effect on our mental, as he keeps saying. So if your mental is not too good up there, then the way you act, the way you think, everything will be affected by that. So when you see people out here going crazy, as they'll say, it's like sometimes we can't just label it as that. I think that's lazy thinking. We like to just label something as what it is, and just and we be content. We don't never question anything. Well, why did that happen? Or what were they doing before? What medication were they on? Or what were they eating before then? You know. So that's another reason why I have him up there, because I like that you're able to break that down. So. What do you say when people say it's FDA approved?
Right, so I'm not saying that every last single thing the FDA approves is horrible, right? Obviously, they are a governing body that has some validity out here. But they also have some strikes, right? So what I pay attention to is how much of the strikes has affected the people. So in the 90s, they had a drug called Vioxx. It was a blood pressure medication. 60,000 people died from that medication that they approved. Right? So, it's a little sweep under the rug there.
Of course.
Right? Social media wasn't around, so, you know, it was just kind of, we had like MySpace, you know, it wasn't really boomed up. Yeah, you know. So it wasn't really prevalent like that. And so you have things like that where they drop the ball on. And then my thing is, FDA is also approving white flour that doesn't have endosperm in it, which most of your foods are made. They're also approving synthetic yeast. So, and this is what you're getting chronic disease from, your celiac disease, your autoimmune disease, your allergies. You know, I mean, nothing is haphazard. It's no coincidence that in the 60s, in the onslaught of your processed food revolution, that 20, 30 years you have a spike in diabetes, cardiac disease, stroke, autoimmune disease, lupus. I mean, any doctor would tell you, lupus, we don't know. So, you got symptoms A, B, C, D, okay, lupus. All right, take this, and then take this. And it's just like, oh man, come on. It's too much with this stuff, man. Yes. So if the FDA is what I'm saying is, and that's why I'm actually calling for a citizens board in every state to reevaluate the FDA and say, all right, you guys approve that, let us have a look at it.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're the educated ones,
anybody else
right?
that's like, right. Once the FDA approve it, is that it? That's it? You're FDA approved and that's it? Like
I'm all for working with them.
Right, right.
But they hush. How come I can't find out your process? And you know, and what's going on? I mean, I have your process, your approval process, but walk me through. Hey, how about let's put our representative there? It's our community, you know, here in whatever county. Let's put our representative there and say, all right, FDA, well, we don't feel that this particular food is safe. You know what I mean? That's a genetically modified organism, and we don't feel that that's safe for ourselves, especially our children. That's really what it's about, right?
And it's true, because once you introduce anything holistic, that's it. They don't approve of it. That's not what we do. That's not organic. That's not what you should be consuming. And it's like, but why? And honestly, my theory is that, well, as everyone should know, America is a corporation. Everything is about money. So everybody, well, for all the people that's on medicine, you're a what's it called? You're a customer for life. So why cure? Why cure someone that we're making money off of? So you knowing that we have to make smarter decisions. We can't keep making them richer and just killing ourselves. And honestly, the poor neighborhoods is where they experiment on us. And I'm gonna get more into that as well. So you speak of GMO. What is GMO?
So it's a genetically modified organism that is artificially altered in a lab.
Right.
Artificially, and so keyword is artificially altered and in a lab.
Absolutely.
Because they'll say, like, you know, Dr. Sippy, rest in peace, but he would say, you know, these things are genetically modified, like carrots and broccoli, they're man-made. They're naturally man-made. They have medicinal properties, though. And so that's why, you know, I'm all for it. Dr. Sippy's diet legit. It's just that, and you're finding more people out there that say, well, I kind of kept a few things that he didn't say that worked for me.
I've seen people that
you know what I'm saying?
try to debunk some of the things he say.
Yeah, and so I'm not into the debunking. I mean, he had legit research, and his testimonies are phenomenal.
Absolutely.
So they speak for themselves. It's just that, you know, you might not be able to ingest broccoli, but you might be able to take spinach. I might not do so well with asparagus, but you know, cabbage is a little bit better for me because you get some of the same nutrients from the same types of vegetables, but you get more of one than the other in one vegetable.
So is it synthetic? Is it synthetic nutrients because you said it's in the lab?
So, oh mercy, you really like opening all kind of stuff. I don't even think is so genetically modified to the point where the pesticide from Monsanto, the herbicide or whatever, the food is now where it is basically retarded from the herbicide. The bugs don't eat on it anymore, and so that stays in the food. It's modified to resist pesticide and things like that. So you're going to ingest that. Now the key element to this about your genetically modified foods, and this is like really what it's all about, is your 9 essential amino acids. Every person on planet Earth has to have these to live. You must get it through your diet.
What's non-mustino?
So amino acids are basically like your proteins and how you for cellular metabolism, basically nutrition, for lack of better understanding nutrition. But 9 of them are essential because you must acquire them through your diet. You don't have them. You must acquire them, so it's what you eat. So the key thing is 3 of them is very important: tryptophan, melanine, and threonine. Melanine is actually transmutates your DNA. It changes our DNA changes. So anatomy, physiology. Every 120 days you get new blood. Every 11 years you get new bone. Every so many 10 years you get new skin. You're constantly growing, changing, shaping, growing. You're living. Your body is living, right? It's not just you're here, right? You were 5, all right? You wasn't this when you was 5.
Yeah, right.
You know, so
people don't understand that. Even me, when I'm thinking about it, like you're always like, okay, we're living beings, but you are literally living. You have to eat to grow. You have to produce. You change. You this. You that. I didn't even know your DNA changes.
Yeah, your DNA changes, and then so if you're eating a genetically modified food that a part of that changes your DNA, then we in turn are genetically modified.
Wow.
Especially our children. Okay, wow. And so also tryptophan. So tryptophan is a really big deal. Tryptophan is one of your 9 essential amino acids, right? So these are like your legumes, wheat brands, oats, different things like that. Even pineapples, fruits, pumpkin seeds. That's the actual foods that you would get that from, some of them. So this is responsible for the production of serotonin. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that is produced in your gut. Most of it, about 70% of it, produced in your gut. Tryptophan takes iron and turns uses the iron and turns it into niacin. And niacin allows the serotonin to now get to your brain. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter, key neurotransmitter. It's not just for your mood. They say, oh, serotonin, dopamine, it's how you feel. No, no, no. It's more about how you feel. It's about how you think. Clarity, memory, your cognitive function, and how well your neurotransmitters fire off. See how it always goes back to your brain? Everything goes back to your brain. So the Creator created you to think.
Right.
Right? He didn't put you here to, I don't know, what's that? Oh.
Yeah.
No, he created you to think and figure it out.
Right.
So if that's a 9 essential amino acid and that's being modified, so now you're not getting that serotonin uptake.
What we supposed to be intaking.
So now you're not thinking correctly, and now you're not making good decisions, and you just let things go on. Because to me, as a functioning society, there's no way we should allow racism, poverty, and hunger. You can't be telling me you're healthy in the mind. I don't care what color you are. If a man is homeless, I need that man to have some shelter.
Absolutely.
Right? You're a mom, 2 beautiful babies at home. You see a white lady with a mother, you don't say, oh, well, you know, she's a white lady. No, she's a mom too. Hey, you're breastfeeding? How you doing, Mom?
Yeah.
Right? Connect, right? It doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
So I feel like the food, by being denutritiized like that, has affected us on such a great scale that we're just
we're not even thinking about being human anymore. We're